Welcome, everyone. My name is Adrienne Mulliken. I am the commissioner of the CSAC, and welcome to our CSAC Fireside Chat with our field hockey coaches here in the conference. We're so happy that you're with us, and this is all part of our CSAC Raise Your Game program. So at this point, I'm going to turn things over to our moderator, Sherry Morin.
All right, welcome coaches and fans to the CSAC Field Hockey Coaches Fireside Chat as part of the CSAC Raise Your Game program. My name is Sherry Morin, and I'm the CSAC Field Hockey Sport Chair, and I also serve as the head softball coach and senior women administrator at Notre Dame of Maryland University. Tonight, we will engage with our 7 field hockey coaches to get to know them all a little better and have some fun. We posted a hashtag on social media as a way to get you fans involved. So stay tuned a little bit later to see if your question will be answered live. All right, let's start by having our coaches introduce themselves. We will go in alphabetical order by the name of your institution. So Brenathan, you're up first. Tell us your name, your school, how many years you've been coaching at your school, and share your favorite memory from either your playing days or on the sidelines.
Hi, everybody. My name is Katie Fitzgerald. I am the head field hockey coach at Brenathan College. I have been at Brenathan College for about 4 years, and my favorite athletic experience was winning the state championship my junior year of high school. But I also have a favorite college memory for Brenathan is when we beat New England College in overtime, my first year.
Thanks, Katie. Cedar Crest, you're up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Morgan Berzina. I'm the head field hockey coach at Cedar Crest. I'm actually pretty new. I've only been there about 3 months. I started this summer. So my favorite memory would have to be a coaching one. It'd probably be my first win with a new program that we started at New Haven.
All right, Centenary.
Hey, hello everyone. Steven Spears, head field hockey coach, Centenary University, Hackettstown, New Jersey. Last year was my inaugural year, brand new program. Haven't had field hockey at Centenary since like the early 70s, so it was a great experience just putting that all together. I think for the first year, one of the most rewarding experience that I had, other than just dealing with a freshman team, so to speak, and being, in my opinion, a very successful program. Year one, we made it to the playoffs, the CSAC playoffs. So that was a very exciting and rewarding experience for me as well as for the team.
Great, thank you. Lancaster Bible.
Hi, my name is Becky Elliott. I'm the head coach at Lancaster Bible College. This has been 2 years. This would have been year 3. Same, we are a new program since the 80s. They dropped field hockey for volleyball, not the smartest move, but we're glad they have it back. And I would say probably my best memory so far coaching would be when we beat Sweetbriar this past year after losing to them 3 times the year before.
All right, Keystone.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Irwin. I'm both the head field hockey and women's lacrosse coach at Keystone. I would have been going on my 7th season at Keystone for field hockey, and I'm currently going on my 6th for women's lacrosse as well. I'd say my favorite playing memory would be, it's a double back, but we had a thing called Color Days at Kings when we first started. Candace knows what I'm talking about. We did it as it was an impromptu thing that we did randomly, kind of to calm our nerves going into playoffs and championships after having what was a perfect season. It started out as a blue day, yellow day, but it really took off and went crazy, and it became kind of a tradition that we then had at Kings for years, and it got quite crazy to the point of fairy wings and wrapped in confetti and buttons, and it was just, I guess you had to be there. Talking now sounds crazy, but it was one of those college memories that I still smile to this day thinking about it.
Candace, Notre Dame, you're up next.
I am Candace Russ. I am the head coach of the field hockey team at Notre Dame of Maryland. This would be my 4th season with the program, and I would say that my favorite memory as a coach is one of my players, Kelsey. She got a card and we were heading into overtime with EMU. And in the huddle, she goes to the girls, you know what, girls, just pass the ball to me as soon as my card is up, and then I'll just go down and score. And then her card was up, she got on the field, they passed the ball to her, and she went down and scored. It was literally the best thing ever, and we beat EMU for the first time in many, many years. So that was really, really exciting.
All right, and last we have Wilson here.
Hi, everybody. I'm Shelly Novak. I am the head coach at Wilson College. I have been there, this will be my 20th season with the Phoenix, so I've been there quite a long time. I think it makes it really difficult to, having been being the head coach for so long, it makes it difficult to really come up with one memory that sticks out. But I will tell you that my very first year, I had a team of 10 players, and that was a team that, it was a lousy season. It was a terrible season, but there was something very special about those 10 individuals that changed not only our program, but also changed how I coach. So I think if there's one memory, it's going to be that team. They were really special.
All right, thanks everyone for introducing yourself. Now we're going to move on to the questions. We'll hear from all of you guys for all of our questions. We're going to mix up the order, so I'll just call on who's up next, okay? Our first question is, what do you enjoy most about being part of the CSAC? Ashley?
Oh man. So I'd say biggest thing that kind of makes me proud about being a part of the CSAC is more so of our community and our outreach that the conference office has with each of its members. I think something that the CSAC does really great is they are always trying to get student athletes recognized for their awards beyond our conference, more so at the national level within Division III. And also, to double back that, I also think it's really unique, which some viewers might not even know, but I think it's kind of special that we do have 2 female institutions that are in our conference. That's not really something that you see anymore, and I think it's pretty unique that we have Notre Dame of Maryland and Cedar Crest being both all female ran schools. I think that's pretty cool, especially in the day now where women are in such power, and we're trying to make our way up in the world, but even more so in sport. So I think that that's something kind of quirky and unique that's about our conference as well.
Cool. Thanks, Ashley. Shelly from Wilson?
Well, I think that having the opportunity to be in a different conference prior to coming to the CSAC and us being relatively new to the CSAC, I think that the support that we have from our conference office is huge. I think that they do a great job across all sports, not just field hockey, but sometimes in other conferences, field hockey is sometimes overlooked. And I don't feel that way with the CSAC. I feel like our sport is a priority for the Colonial States Athletic Conference.
All right, Katie from Brent Athen, you're up next.
So to go off of what Shelly said, I completely agree with her statement. I think coming from another conference and being relatively new to this conference as well, that the CSAC really values each student athlete's potential academically and athletically. It's really nice to see the conference vision, and it was something that was very easy to follow from the very beginning. And I think with that vision, it really just embodies the growth of our student athletes' development, and really is fantastic with noticing our student athletes in every aspect and not just athletically. I think that it's really nice, and we have a really great balance with that. Also, the communication through our conference is great, and I think we value relationships and value feedback. And it's one of those things that we take with us, even on the field, on the court, on the ice, everything like that. So it's fantastic.
Thanks. Candace, what about you?
I think for me, I actually really appreciate the support from the coaching staff. So Katie at Brent Athen has always been so awesome to me. I was running late to a game and she just, tried to calm us down, and we're about to compete. And then once, the game turned on, we were definitely more cutthroat and very competitive. But before the game started, she was super open to me, and I just appreciate that. And I would say the same thing for Shelly. Trying to figure out where I was supposed to go around the campus was kind of hard. And she was very, very generous with her time and making sure that we got where we needed to be. And it's also kind of cool to me that I get to coach against somebody that I played with for 3 years. So that's really nice. And I would say that the potlucks at Cedar Crest, I just feel like the community just in general with the CSAC coaches has been tremendous. So I'd say that's like one of my favorite things about coaching in the CSAC.
Thanks, Candace. Stephen?
Yes, everything everyone just said. I said the same thing. How's that? I agree. Right from the beginning when Ashley talked about the recognition for the athletes. I mean, this is my first experience, obviously, only being in the program for 1 year and being in the conference for 1 year. But I found it immediately, without question, number one, the coaching staff from everyone involved and everyone in the CSAC has been very supportive. I mean, I didn't really know a whole lot about anything. About where to go and how to do things. I think my first game was with Britain Athens, and you walked me through it, helped me get things started, and that was tremendously helpful. So yeah, it's a very supportive network of dedicated coaches. I took a few notes here, so you see me glancing off. I didn't want to miss anything, and I think everything that the conference does, as well as all the coaches in this conference, they do it to enhance the experience for the athletes. It's very supportive in that way. It's a competitive, very competitive conference, but again, very supportive. It's here just to enhance that experience, both academically and athletically, for all our athletes, and it made it a very pleasant experience for me as a coach. So thank you to all of you.
Great. Becky, you're next.
I would reiterate everything. And I am new, so this is a new experience. The one thing that's great is that there's competition coming from the NEAC and having very few schools that had field hockey. It was nice to be welcomed by the CSAC since we are an associate member. So that was very appreciative. And also, I was going to say what Candace said too, like everyone has been very helpful and agree. Like I feel like as soon as the game's over or right before the game starts, we're shaking hands, we're talking about all our great things and bad things that aren't going well. And I just think it's been a very great support system.
Cool. All right, and last, Morgan, you're our newest member here, so you might have a little different take, but I'm sure you're pleasantly listening to everyone else's comments at this point.
Yeah, so yeah, I think I have a shorter time period that I'm kind of evaluating everything on, but so far I'm just really happy with kind of the way that this conference is really taking into consideration the student athlete and their experience. I know it's as simple as us having this conversation right now. It's to offer them something while they're missing kind of the competition on the field. And I don't think that there are a lot of conferences that are doing that as a whole together. So this is one thing that really stood out to me that I can't say I think is happening everywhere. So kind of a shorter experience. I'm hoping that we get to know each other better and I have those relationships with every school as well. But yeah, I think the CSAC's doing great with that so far.
Thanks, Morgan. All right, we're going to move on to question 2 now. Name one fact about your athletic background that your team doesn't know about. Up first, we have Stephen with Centenary.
I had to think about this one. Unfortunately, because I was born in the US of A, I didn't have the opportunity to play field hockey in high school or anywhere else. I learned later in life through coaching and then started playing as an adult in adult leagues. Played a club for Centenary University, actually, as I'm an alumni there. So they don't know that. But the one thing I know they don't know is that I have a 7th degree black belt in karate, and I can do a complete split. Now, my high school athletes, when I coach varsity high school, somehow they found that out. And usually once every couple practices, I had to demonstrate that I could do a split and my flexibility. But until now, now I just cat's out of the bag here, so to speak. Now I'm sure next practice, if they see this or whenever I'll be doing a full split on turf. So
you'll have to have them video it for all.
I'm sure they're going to videotape it as well. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Morgan, you're up next.
So one thing that they definitely don't know is I dove for a year in high school. I never played a winter sport before, so I just kind of really wanted to try it out. There was an opening pretty much as long as I showed up and jumped off the diving board. The swim team was going to get a point, so they welcomed me. It was one of the most fun things I've ever done because it was very relaxed. I had no pressure on myself. I was just learning, having fun with it, and really, again, I couldn't go wrong. So it was an out there thing, and it was honestly a great experience. So.
Very cool. Candace, what about you?
I would say that my girls would be super surprised, or my student athletes would be super surprised to know that I was a cheerleader when I was in middle school. They always talk about how competitive I am, and I just feel like they think that cheerleaders are not competitive. So I feel like that would be like opposite of what they would think. So they don't know that, and I think they would be super surprised to know that.
I think I agree. And Becky, you're up next.
I feel like we might have like maybe a competition here between Stephen and Candace, and maybe put that together, little cheer and acrobatics maybe.
I'll take the challenge.
People definitely win.
Yes. So they would probably be surprised that I played basketball. I only played for 1 year. I was great at defense and awful at shooting, and that's why I only played 1 year.
Ashley from Keystone.
No, I'd be right after Becky. So kind of piggybacking off of Becky, my girls actually know a lot, which is kind of scary. We do coach trivia all the time, see who gets the ball first. But I actually always had the passion to play college, or play basketball in college rather. And I really didn't have the desire to play field hockey. It wasn't until I started getting more recognition in high school to go away to play field hockey instead. I was a power forward at a whopping 5'6", so obviously it's why it didn't work out too well for me to play basketball. But at Kings, I got the opportunity to be a student assistant my senior year with the coach Brian Donahue at the time, and I learned a lot from him. And it was actually then that I really learned about myself, that I really wanted to be a college coach, and kind of realized I may have just wasted 4 years of my life in the wrong major. But it was a fun opportunity for me. But yeah, I wanted to go away to play basketball, and it just didn't work out.
All right, Shelly, you're up next.
So I would say they probably don't know that I was a sprinter in high school. So I was also a two-sport athlete. I was basketball and track in high school. So my hockey career didn't start until a little bit later in life.
All right, and last we have Katie.
So it sounds like all of us have like a same like wavelength with everything, especially the basketball thing. So I was obsessed with basketball. And when I was 12 years old, I made it to the state finals for a free throw competition, and I lost. So I was runner up, but I practiced every single day, and it was pretty wild because I traveled all the way to Bethlehem for the competition. And yeah, it was a pretty crazy thing, but I was pretty obsessed. So
cool. All right, well, now that all of your teams know all of your hidden talents, that should be a fun first practice when we get back. So moving on to question 3, how would your team describe you in one word? Shelly from Wilson, we'll start with you.
Intense.
Candace.
I would say probably competitive.
Stephen.
Okay. Caring. That's the whole male, I'm the only male here, and that sometimes that's kind of how things go. I think I'm a little too sensitive to their feelings at times, so I know that they would say that I'm caring, which is not a bad thing.
Oh. Katie.
passionate.
Morgan.
Excited.
Ashley.
So I actually had a really hard time with this, and I cheated. I'm not gonna lie. So I polled them. But the one that really stuck out to me was mom. I kind of joke all the time that I'm like their mom away from mom at school. I'm really hard on them, and I can give them a tough time, but at the same time, really supportive and fun. So I thought that was sweet. So mom or motherly. And I don't have kids, so that's probably why.
All right, and last, Becky.
You're not the only one, Ashley. I asked just a few, and the one that I thought was interesting was they said I'm persistent, so which makes sense with starting a new program. You have to be persistent. So.
All right, moving on to question 4. What do you guys like to do in your downtime or to blow off steam? Becky, right back to you.
Walk my dog. I have a black lab. She's 11, almost 12, so spend a lot of time with her because I know she's not going to be here too much longer. So I walk my dog.
Steven.
Oh, I have quite a list, but I'll narrow it down. I like to do a lot of backpacking, hiking, rock climbing. That A-type personality, but it gets me in the zone, so to speak, and I can kind of clear my mind. I also like riding my Harley Davidson, and I like spending time with family. You know, I have 2 older kids and I have a grandson, so it's nice to kind of just separate from everything, the busy day, and just, you know, get yourself together with family. So.
All right, Ashley from Keystone.
Typically I'm working all year round with doing both seasons, so I really enjoy when May comes around because I kind of tuck away and I go down to my family's beach house in Bethany Beach, Delaware. I really enjoy just being at the beach. And recently I've really taken up golfing. It was kind of a new passion of mine. So I just really enjoy going out golfing and then being on the lake, just hanging on the boat and fishing, just simple stuff.
All right, Katie from Bernathen.
I think first and foremost, I like having as much time to spend with my children as I possibly can. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, so life can get pretty busy sometimes. So we just like to dial back, and we're huge on family. My husband is one of 5, and I have an older brother and my parents back at home, his parents back at home in the Wilkes-Barre Scranton area. And we like to just, my parents have a lake house. We go there and we hang out and we just relax and talk and spend quality time. So we really like to just chill out.
All right, Shelley from Wilson.
I'd have to agree with Becky on this one. I have 3 dogs, 2 Great Danes and Mutt, and we do a lot of dog walking.
All right, Morgan.
Yeah, so mine's actually pretty much the same as Ashley's. We have a beach house. I like just sneaking away down there as much as I can, and just taking the boat out, honestly, just being anywhere near the water. It's very calming, relaxing, and just kind of a good way to clear your head.
And Candace.
I would kind of go off of what Steven said. I like so many things. It's hard to kind of narrow it down. I think it depends on like what I need. But lately I've been playing in a field hockey league, and that has been exactly what I've needed. And it also helps that we've won all of our games by plenty of points. So that's been exciting.
Cool. Thanks, Candace. All right, on to question 5 here. Who is your sports mentor and why? Morgan from Cedar Crest, we'll start with you.
So I actually picked my high school coach for this because she's kind of the one who first got me into coaching when I was in high school. She said, "You're running the youth league, keep going." And she's just always been there. Her name's Marianne Harris. She's been in the sport forever. She's a legend in her own right. She used to make us sit down every year and watch a documentary about Constance Appleby bringing field hockey to America. So she's just always been so passionate about the sport, even though she's getting older, and that's just who I want to be. I want to be in my 70s and still thinking about field hockey every day.
Ashley from Keystone.
So when I first took over the field hockey program in 2014, I talked to my old coach a lot from Kings, Martha Couric. She was actually the assistant at the time when Candace and I played. Shout out to Marth. But she's now the head coach at Kings. And when I first started, I'd typical early, being a young coach, coaching woes, bumped some ideas off of her. But then I kind of like flew the nest, and now we compete against each other real well. But recently, her name's Terry Wise, and she's actually became like my go-to person. She was actually our head softball coach and athletic director at Keystone way back in the day when we were a junior college. But she helped Keystone initially start the process of becoming a Division III member and moving from a junior college to a Division III member. So she's always like my guru. She's lived it, breathed it, worn that t-shirt type deal. And she's retired from everything now, just enjoys golfing and living on her lake. But she always knows the right thing to say when I need it. But then she's not afraid to tell me when I'm wrong either, which I also need. So she's just really someone that I'll forever be grateful for.
All right, Candace, Notre Dame.
I would say also my high school coach, her name is Debbie Windette. She was so terrifying to me when I first met her as a freshman. And she was she was literally the best thing that could have happened to me. She pushed me so hard. But then she also was able to show that like she cared. And I feel like that's something that I try to emulate, because I think it is important for people to feel pushed, but it's also important for them to know you care. So I just love that about her. And similar to what Morgan was saying, she's like a legend in her own right. And she was recently inducted into the Field Hockey Hall of Fame in Delaware. So I just think the world of her, and I'm just so grateful for everything that she was able to show me about the sport and all the passion that she was able to kind of, I was able to, I guess, steal from her.
All right, Becky, Lancaster Bible, what about you?
I was an assistant coach for a lot of years at Lebanon Valley College, and I had the opportunity of being under two really good coaches. Laurel Martins, who's now at Stevenson, gave me my first opportunity to coach in college, and then later on I was under Carol Martin when she made the move from University of Delaware to Lebanon Valley. And I think both of them just different coaching tactics. Just learned a lot from them, just the opportunity to grow under them, to be able to do different things. But then also the strange thing with this, or the little coincidence, is Carol Martin also taught my older sister. And I would say my sister is probably the most influential on me with field hockey. She is still involved. She's 6 years older than me. She plays for the USA Masters team. She's one that I bounce ideas off of. She's come and helped us with a new program. And just when I was younger and she was playing at Millersville, as a little 7th grader just starting the sport, they were, superstars to me when I was that age. So I really look up to my sister and what she has done to pave the way for me to be at this point now in my life.
All right, Shelley with Wilson, you're up next. Ooh, I think we just lost Shelley. So we'll go to Stephen from Centenary.
Oh, we lost Shelley.
Yeah, we can wrap back to her.
We'll get her back. I see her. There she is. She's back up. You want me to jump ahead, or you want to go back to Shelley?
Shelley, you want to go now?
Sure, a little bit of technical difficulty there, sorry. I think my the most influential person in my life when it came to sports was my father. But when it comes to hockey, which you knew nothing about, but when it came to hockey, I think the one person that I turned to when I started my coaching career was Jennifer Crispin. And she was a longtime coach at Sweetbriar College. And she was just a phenomenal resource, just very supportive. I had that initial team, and she just always had a kind word and was willing to give guidance and tell me the hard realities, that you were going to face as a first year coach. And I think her mentorship meant the world to me.
Thanks, Shelley. All right, Stephen.
Okay, so I had to think about this because, quite honestly, I was kind of a little guy. Not that I'm any bigger now, but a little bit bigger than I was in high school. And I didn't really excel at a whole lot of sports in high school as far as team sports, so to speak. I tried the wrestling, I tried the basketball, I tried pretty much everything. Of course, I was introduced to field hockey by a physical education teacher, Genya Pantuso, who is now officiates for USA Field Hockey, a number of other places. In fact, when I started coaching at the varsity level at high school, I hadn't seen her in a while, and she was actually officiating some of my games. She's been very supportive of me and what I've been doing for the past 20 plus years now with field hockey. But anyway, so she's one of those that I look back on and say, you know, she introduced us to field hockey because she was a field hockey coach in high school. Of course, I had a girlfriend at the time who played field hockey, and we used to, at the end of the season, have the guys play the girls, you know, in like these little catch-up games, you know, little scrimmages and stuff. And I loved the game because it was so competitive. I thought there was such toughness in these women who were playing this game. I wanted to learn how to do it, and that's kind of where I got introduced to it. So I would say she had some influence on where I am today. And another physical education teacher, very quickly, David Childs, who was also my high school physical education teacher, he taught me the individual piece of like endurance and extreme sports and how the mental piece of it works into mental toughness and dealing with, you know, the physicals part of being involved in sports, whether it be an individual or a team sport. So between the two of them, those two, I think in combination, were influential on me as a high school student. And then later in life, I think I found myself getting more involved in physical fitness, et cetera. And then of course, getting back into field hockey, and here I am today. So those two helped me get where I am now.
All right, and last we have Katie from Bryn Athyn.
Yeah, so I have a few people that were really influential, I think, in my life when it came to sports. And I think the very first one for just morals and everything, of course, my father. So I actually chose the sport of field hockey because it was a sport that I knew my father could not coach me in. So I chose field hockey because of that reason and hated it as soon as I played it, and then found out that I was pretty decent at it, and I just worked so hard, and he of course supported me through that. But I think mainly for him, you know, he was a coach for everything. He was always there for me. He was a dual athlete in college at Wilkes. He played football and he wrestled, and he always just had that mentality that, you know, we had to give our best at everything, and whatever we were going to be, we had to be the best at it, or do our best at it. And it was okay to fail, but we need to give 100% all the time. And I think that everything he instilled in me carries through my coaching right now, which I'm extremely thankful for. But for field hockey, I would say there was two influential people in my whole career here. So I would say first and foremost, Sarah Myers, who was the former field hockey coach at Wilkes University. So she took a chance on me when I was 22 years old, right out of college, to be her graduate assistant, and taught me so much about, you know, teamwork and foundation. And the girls bought into her right away and loved her. And I always said to myself, I want to be exactly like that. And her and I are dear friends now, and I bounce a lot of stuff off of her. So shout out to Sarah. She's a phenomenal person, mother, coach, just one of those people you want to keep in your circle forever. Another person that was really influential to me was Erin Livingston, and she is the coach at Arcadia University right now, and I was an assistant under her for about 3 years before I took the Bryn Athyn job. And I'm very thankful for her because she is one of the most brilliant minds that I've ever met when it came to field hockey, practice planning and recruiting, and just her way of knowing what to do, you know, under pressure is just something that she just exuded. It was just so natural, and I just always wanted to learn from her and pick her brain. And she's just, the grit and the grind from her is just nonstop, and she's just a phenomenal person, a great friend, and I just learned so much. And she's the one who actually really wanted me to spread my wings to take this brand new program and start it from the ground up, and really believed in me. So I appreciate her.
Cool. All right. Thank you all. So our last question tonight is our social media question, and it was submitted to us by @Keystone Athletics. And the question is, how has the recruiting process been during COVID-19? Anyone can jump in. We would love to hear from all of you guys. So just feel free when you're ready to jump in.
I can go first. For me, it has been, in some ways, it's been difficult because there's not as many there's not as many games happening to go and watch players, but it's been awesome because I don't have many games. So when there are games for me to go and watch, I'm much more available to do that. And I think that it has also forced me to be more creative. And so, having Zoom calls and things like that, and just reminded me that where there is a will, there is a way. And if you want to make something happen, you can make it happen. So on the one hand, it's been sort of challenging, but on the other hand, it's also been super rewarding to find ways to navigate throughout the difficult.
I would piggyback that. I agree. It is difficult because we can't do overnight visits, and that's a lot of times when the recruits really seal the deal on where they want to go. So we've had to be imaginative with that when they come to campus. And I don't know how everyone else's campuses are, but there's things that are not the same. In lockdown, the food service is different. There's a lot of things that we usually showcase that we can't showcase. So that has been a challenge. But then on the flip side, it has given a lot of opportunities to meet in different circumstances or see them in a different area, Zoom calls. And again, the nice thing, Pennsylvania is playing. So it's great. Been able to see a lot more games than we normally would be able to see. So that has been a plus with this whole situation. So there are definitely positives and definitely some negatives.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that I like how kind of flexible it's made me too. I was coming from a different institution, so I already knew I needed to kind of change my mindset and my tactics, but also then having it be in the midst of COVID, it was just becoming, just adapting to the times. And I really would have never thought about recruiting with a Zoom call before, but I like it so much more than just a phone call, because sometimes there is a recruit who can't travel right now because even if there was no COVID, they would have their season. And I think it's just much more interactive and engaging, and that's definitely something I wouldn't have thought of before all of this.
Kind of to piggyback off of what Morgan has said, I've even seen it from the high school level. It's neat because I can recruit from my couch. There's so many games that are live streamed that I think is just awesome, especially at the high school level. It's almost like that is one super positive thing that COVID has done for our high school athletes, is it's forced their athletic administration to think outside the box and hey, we have these juniors and seniors that need to be recruited. We're not allowing fans, even for the fact that it's some of these seniors' final season and mom and dad and grandma and grandpa can't watch, and to see that they have them, live on YouTube or on Sportscope, it's pretty neat to see that the high school level is now evolving as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go off of that as well. I think it's just like Candace said, I think it's just being creative, and it's really just, putting your mind to something and making a lot of calls and using a lot of FaceTime or Zoom or, Teams even. And it's just making sure that we're doing as much as possible to be able to, recognize these athletes as well, because it's such a hard time for them. It's hard for us, but I really feel for them as well. So just making sure that, we're doing right by them, and we're still, having that integrity of, following up and watching and doing everything like that, I think is super important. But, we are more available. So it's been really nice, like Ashley said, to be able to watch a ton of games that are live streamed. And we never would really have that at our fingertips. Usually it would be like, okay, my assistant's going here, I'm going here, and we're shuffling back and forth, and, we're driving 3 hours to a game. And it's just been really nice to be able to, hit a couple at one time. And, so we're just doing the best we can and using the resources that we have to do it.
I'll jump in real quick because I agree with everything that was just said. I think it's in my experience over the past couple of months, and with the help of our athletic department and our media people, it's caused us to think outside the box a little bit on how can we get the program out there. Like, you know, if we can't have visits, we can't have the overnights. There's not that many showcase tours. I know Jill DeSantis from Wagner did a couple here in Jersey. I was fortunate enough to be invited to that, was able to kind of see some of the things, but you don't get to see as many athletes because not as many are participating. But what we've been doing now is I just got done putting a YouTube video, like introducing myself, kind of like what we're doing here. Did it in the YouTube, or they're going to put it on YouTube, but did a video, edit it all out. What are the things we're looking for in a recruit? What does Centenary University have to offer? I don't know if I would have thought of that before, because I would have just relied on meeting with that athlete and then sitting down and having that conversation and walking around campus. You can't do that. So putting it all together in a package that can be put up on YouTube, and I can just send the link to a potential recruit and say, here's everything you need to know about, you know, our program and what we're doing, and, you know, and just point out all the good stuff. We've done some drone flyovers and did some virtual tours, and we attach all that stuff. So I agree, COVID has been, you know, difficult for all of us, but there's a silver lining to some of it because it causes us to come out and reach out in different ways. And I've already had 4 or 5 Zoom recruit meetings, some of them from international students overseas who, you know, it was kind of a neat experience because it's almost like instantaneously. I don't have to wait or set anything up. I just say, hey, I'm going to set up a Zoom meeting. It'll be tomorrow. I'll see you at 12 o'clock. And there you are. Now you're talking like we are now for, you know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and you're answering all those questions and giving all the information. So that's the one plus side of it. I miss having to come to the campus and show them around, but it is what it is for now.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I found in all of this is the Zoom calls are actually so much more personable, and I didn't really expect that. You know, I in a generation enjoyed connecting by phone, but I think with students in this generation that the Zoom call or the FaceTime was just a better way to connect. And I just thought that was a real positive experience.
All right, I think that was everyone here. So that concludes our evening tonight. I want to thank all of you coaches for being here and participating this evening, and to our fans for tuning in as well. Make sure you mark your calendars for the launch of the CSAC's next Raise Your Game program coming up Wednesday, October 2nd at 7 p.m. Our hosts Travis Spencer from Centenary University and Suzanne Nelson from Bernathen College will present a program entitled The Importance of Sleep and Nutrition in the Time of COVID. Make sure you tune in for our next Coaches Fireside Chat as well on Wednesday, October 14th at 7 p.m., where we will get to know the CSAC cross-country coaches a little bit better. Finally, don't forget to check us out at csacsports.org/raiseyourgame for all the details about our Raise Your Game programming this semester, and follow the CSAC on social media at handle CSAC Sports. Thank you again for everyone for joining us this evening, and I hope you guys had a great time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.